I've been really disappointed. And what's been troubling to me about your nomination from the beginning is your failure to just stand up and take accountability for mistakes that you made and that all Americans know that you've made. Everyone in this room, every one of us has made mistakes, but what America expects from leaders, especially leaders who are tasked with our national security or could be tasked with the position for which you're nominated for, is for people to stand up and just take responsibility.
So this was today in the Senate. Mike Waltz, if you remember, was the national security advisor for Donald Trump, was a national security advisor for Donald Trump. And then he accidentally added a reporter to a Signal group chat where they were talking about war plans. You remember Signalgate? Well, now he's trying to be the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. So he was in the Senate today at this confirmation hearing, and he got absolutely grilled. And I want to go through some of the videos and react with you. Really quickly before I do, though, my name's Chris Mowrey, filling in for Adam Mockler on the Adam Mockler channel. If you enjoy this type of content, the link to my YouTube channel will be in the description down below. You guys have shown so much love lately, and truly, like I say every single time, and I mean it, I appreciate it and I love you. On this channel, we're trying to build something big to punch back against what I call MAGA media, this Republican media powerhouse, a lot of what won them the election in 2024. We're trying to build something here to uplift Gen Z voices going into the midterms 2026, but also 2028 and beyond. And if you want to be a part of this growing community, all you have to do is click subscribe down below. All right, before we get into these videos, let me show you a little bit what happened today, or explain what's going on in these videos. President Donald Trump's former national security advisor, Mike Waltz, was dragged over the coals by Democrats on Tuesday during a hearing on Capitol Hill where he was repeatedly grilled over Signalgate. The former Florida congressman was appearing before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for a confirmation hearing to become the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations after he was fired as Trump's national security advisor in May, only to be offered the plum role in New York representing the U.S. in the international body. So that's essentially what's going on. I know Mike Waltz kind of got out of the scene, and this is hard to keep up with because every single day of the Trump administration is such chaos. So stories like this feel like they happened years ago. I almost wanted to start this video and be like, do you remember Signalgate? Because to me, it seems like that was, 2 or 3 years ago, but we're only 6 or 7 months into the Trump administration at this point, which I'm really sorry I had to say that and remind you. But it's gonna be a long time. It's stories like this that make you realize, wow, we're in it for the long haul. But we keep pushing one day at a time. So that's what's going on here. Let me bring you back to the actual confirmation hearing itself, and let's react to this video together.
We both know Signal is not an appropriate, secure means of communicating highly sensitive information, and yet on March 24th, The Atlantic magazine published a series of Signal messages including sensitive information about a U.S. military operation against the Houthis in Yemen, involving you and several other Trump officials. Were you investigated for this disclosure of sensitive operational information on Signal?
Thank you, Senator. And that engagement was driven by and recommended by the Cyber Security Infrastructure Security Agency, by the Biden administration, CISA guidance.
I'm sorry.
And I have here,
Wait, first of all, I just want to say that's insane. What an insane way to start when you're asked about this huge controversy. Were you investigated? Obviously, classified information should not be shared on Signal. And his first sentence, essentially, is blaming the Biden administration. Wow. I'm 23 years old. I can take more accountability for my mistakes than these fuckers, frankly. Excuse my language. But this is absurd. This is insanity. We should be demanding consistently better leaders for our country and people who are not in positions of power who can't take accountability for mistakes. Let's keep listening.
Just the use of Signal.
Share information on Signal.
The use of, no, excuse me. The use of Signal is not only as an encrypted app, is not only authorized, it was recommended in Biden's, the Biden era CISA guidance. And in fact, if you just, it says here, I'll read it to you. Use only end-to-end encrypted communications. Adopt a free messaging application to secure communications that guarantees end-to-end encryption, particularly if you are a highly targeted individual, such as Signal or similar apps. CISA recommends end-to-end encryption messaging on both government and personal devices.
For sensitive military
of course, Senator. There was no classified information exchange.
For sensitive military.
Wait. First of all, he ignored the question. which is, wait, okay, so you're saying, you use Signal, it's recommended on a government or personal device if you're someone high up in government, but can you share classified information through Signal? Like, is it recommended for classified information? He ignores the question and then says there was no classified information on the Signal chat. Yes, there was. Are you kidding me? That's insane. That's just a flat out lie. Again, we're at the stage where these people, they don't even try to spin things anymore. It's like today with the inflation report. As I record this video, the inflation report came out today. Inflation is rising a lot, actually. It's up, 0.3%, which is a considerable jump compared to last month. And a lot of core pieces of inflation, like specific things that are really being affected by tariffs, are increasing 5+%. And they just said today the Trump administration was like, inflation's going down. We don't even try to spin it anymore. We just lie. And this is where we're at. He says, well, there just wasn't classified information. Yes, there was. Absurd.
Military you were sharing details about an upcoming airstrike and the time of launch and the potential targets. I mean, this was demonstrably sensitive information. And the question I asked was, were you investigated for this expansion of the Signal Group to include a journalist?
The White House conducted an investigation, and my understanding is the Department of Defense is still conducting an investigation.
Was any disciplinary action taken?
From the White House Investigation Center?
Yes.
No, the use of Signal was not only authorized, it's still authorized and highly recommended.
Would you recommend the use of Signal for classified information to be shared between folks who have access to?
Again, we followed the recommendation, almost the demand, to use end-to-end encryption, but there was no classified information shared.
Did you speak?
It's just a lie. It's just a lie. There's no classified information shared. Absurd. And he says, was there some punishment for this? Well, no, not from the White House thing. Really? Is that why you're sitting there becoming the ambassador, trying to become the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and you're not working in the Trump administration? I'm pretty sure what came out of that is you got fired. But okay, whatever. We move on from that. We don't need to hear him lie anymore. I want to take you lastly to Cory Booker. We started listening to in the beginning. I love Senator Cory Booker. Listen to what he has to say.
I've been really disappointed. And what's been troubling to me about your nomination from the beginning is your failure to just stand up and take accountability for mistakes that you made and that all Americans know that you've made. Everyone in this room, every one of us has made mistakes, but what America expects from leaders, especially leaders who are tasked with our national security or could be tasked with the position for which you're nominated for, is for people to stand up and just take responsibility, take accountability. But I heard you just blame Biden. I've seen you not only fail to stand up, but lie. You said about this person when you were involved in the sharing of sensitive information about imminent military operations. I've listened to you now for weeks and months. You said this journalist intentionally infiltrated that signal chain. You said that he was sucked in. You denied, deflected, and then you did something that to me really lacks integrity, is that you sought out to demean and degrade that very journalist in crass and frankly cruel ways that made him a target. That's not leadership. When you blame people that tell the truth, that's not leadership. When you can't say the words, I made a mistake, I could have done better, I learned valuable lessons from this experience. Instead, at a moment where our national security was clearly compromised, you denied, you deflected, and then you demeaned and degraded those people who objectively told the truth and criticized your actions. Smearing people, attacking folks, singling them out, just furthers, compounds what I think is disqualifying about you for this position.
Wow, that was really powerful and beautifully said. In 1 minute and 55 seconds, Cory Booker put it perfectly. And again, it just goes back to this general idea. From Trump all the way down, the MAGA people who are in our government will go down, they're as such disgraces, frankly, to this country. And it's moments like this where you take such important issues happening in our country and you have no integrity, you don't care about them, it's all political, when you're being nominated for a position and you're being asked about previous mistakes, an issue, again, that's important, you play politics with it. You say, well, it's Biden's fault. Well, blah, 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 blah. As long as I'm loyal to Trump, then I'll find my way. I'll find a job. I'll make some money. I'll be relevant. It's so disgraceful. It's not what government's about. And that's why on this channel, we're going to keep screaming and yelling about it. So listen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe down below and hit like. Once again, my name's Chris Mowrey, filling in for Adam Mockler on the Adam Mockler channel. I appreciate you so much for all the love lately. I know this can be a lot sometimes, just politics in general. But remember, you're doing great, and I'm proud of you. I appreciate you a lot, and I will see you in the next video.